Welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Today we are honored to have the one and only, you know who I'm talking about, right, guys? We're talking about Randi Weingarten. Let me tell you this. Well, Randi is the president of the American Federation of Teachers, a role she has held since 2008 after leading the United Federation of Teachers from 1998 to 2008.
And 9.
Oh, 2009.
I overlapped 1 year.
Okay, you overlapped. Okay.
It almost killed me.
I can imagine. All right. An attorney and former high school social studies teacher, she earned a BS in labor relations from Cornell and a JD from Cardozo School of Roosevelt Institute. Weingarten champions public education as a foundation to democracy. She fights standardized testing excess, supports community schools with wraparound services, and defends educators' rights with unwavering resolve. And we've spoken about that quite often. But
How are you
I am
today?
doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm okay. In this police state that we are living in.
I am glad you started that way. You went ahead and decided to get started politically. So I'm going to ask you this. Why'd you leave the DNC?
So I decided, and Lee Saunders and I kind of did it at the same time. We decided, even after we were invited, not to be at-large members.
Mm-hmm.
So we represent, if you think about it, two of the biggest unions who have long supported democratic causes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to speak for him, but I'll speak for myself. I think we decided that we needed a little bit of independence and that our members needed us. You know, we very much, or I very much am willing to fight for communities and our members and the labor movement and workers. But sometimes if people are not listening as much as we think they should, and I didn't think that the new DNC leadership was, that after a while, then you're just going to put your efforts elsewhere. It's not that they're bad people, but we have to expand the tent. And we have to expand the tent in ways that workers everywhere feel like they have a home in the Democratic Party, regardless of where they may be culturally. Mm-hmm. Like if a worker, take in FDR's time, if a worker was really conservative culturally, they still felt that the Democratic Party was there for them in terms of the fight for better wages and better benefits, and that their families could have a better life. So I think the way in which you don't abandon all of the dignity issues is that you create a bigger tent on the economic issues. So there are a bunch of us who have been saying that, but there needs to be action, not just policy. So I said, I'm going to put my efforts elsewhere.
And I think I agree with you 100%. But I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit of specifics, because in a lot of ways you went around. And I think one of the problems we have with the DNC and the party proper is that we don't come out often and say, this is what you are not doing and what you must do.
Right.
And
So
I can say that outright.
See, so part of what I don't want to do is like what I've tried not to do is have any of the private conversations.
Right.
Because I don't think that would be productive.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this. So I thought, for example, I think that the Democrats in Congress, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and others, I think they did a superb job. The Democrats in Congress did a superb job on making clear why the Trump bill, he calls it the big beautiful bill, mm-hmm. I call it the big ugly betrayal.
Right. Why
that was a huge wealth transfer between poor to rich, mm-hmm. and what it actually does for regular human beings. Mm-hmm. This fight on the soul of our country is not going to be won or lost in a capital vote.
Right.
It's going to be won or lost on the streets of Main Street.
Amen.
And so when Ken Martin ran saying part of his whole platform was we have to be a 50-state party again and we have to be on Main Street. So Where was that during the whole debate? Where was the action on Main Street? Where were the state political parties? Where were the local Democratic clubs? Where was the chorus? I mean, the labor movement did it. You know, we were thousands of my members wrote letters. We were at town halls. We did ads. You could not be in the Congress without seeing somebody from SAIU in a purple shirt.
I know. I was with them.
I mean, you couldn't. You saw people from Moms Rising all there. You saw others there. You saw us there. You saw. We were. But where was the Democratic Party per se organized the state political parties, the local Democratic clubs? Where was this? Where were they? And so that's what I mean about, you can't just say, okay, we're going to do a phone, we're going to do telephoning tonight. That's important, but where you got to have a presence on the streets.
You have to have flesh and blood in the field.
Look what we did on No King's Day. I mean, there were a whole bunch of groups, Indivisible, AFT, many of the pro-democracy groups. Where was the institutional, where were the institutional players? So that's what I'm saying when there's my kids at Clara Barton High School when I taught, and by the way, I'm actually still on leave from my teaching position.
Oh, really?
Unpaid leave from my teaching position. I never retired from New York City schools.
So you're still a teacher.
So I am still a teacher.
The most important profession in the world.
And I'm actually going to teach at CUNY in January or February because I love it and I feel like I want to, and I talked to the union about it, and I feel like I really want to, like I can't with my job be in a classroom in Brooklyn every day, particularly when I'm on a plane every day. So that I'm not going to be able to do. But once a week, do things to have that direct connection again, so you can, first off, I miss it, but secondly, so you can kind of close your eyes and say, this is what my members do. So I'm very lucky that the staff of the union and the other leaders of the union are allowing me to do some of these things, like write a book or teach or things like that, which I think are important.
I'm going to ask you about your book as well.
But my point is, if you're not on the streets, if you're not out there with people, how are you going to change hearts and minds? And that's what I think we have to do, the surround sound.
Look, I am glad that you said that.
Is that specific enough?
And I think more importantly, your voice have to get out there, being a former member of the DNC. I think you were rather kind with both Jeffries and Schuman. You were rather kind with them. There was $1.2 billion that we raised, and I don't know that it was spent into the areas that it should have been spent, but we won't go there. Where I want to go with you is...
they are doing the best. I do think the people who are actually in Congress right now, they don't have power. Mm-hmm. I think the people in Congress right now, I think the attorney generals right now,
they're doing great jobs.
I think the governors right now, I think that these four units of people who are in office elected are really trying. I think what I'm saying is that the party itself, you have to be the surround sound.
Yeah.
You have to actually support the people of America. And when people in our party, like a Maxwell Frost, like a Hakeem Jeffries, like an AOC, like Chris Murphy, like Cory Booker, like an Amy Klobuchar, when they are out there fighting, where's the chorus?
Right.
Where's the people on Main Street? That's what I'm saying. That's what expands the tent.
I get it. I get it. Now, let me ask you this. What tangible harm do you ascribe to Trump's policies or rhetoric regarding the Department of Education or public school? And how did the damage Doge did will affect our entire educational system in the aggregate?
So so I don't think we're going to know for a very long time the effect of the damage of Doge, because one of the most important effects of Doge is they took all of our private information and they put it into AI. Mm-hmm. So someone has a lot of information to create a surveillance state in a modern era on all of us. Mm-hmm. And so when they have, and we went in and we got an injunction initially like on Doge, so I want to do this first, but I want to get to the other piece. So on Doge, for example, we took a lawsuit, went in immediately, stopped them at the lower court level from taking, for purposes other than specifically intended by law, the student loan information of everyone who was getting a Pell Grant or having a student loan and was a student debt borrower. You're talking about 45 million people. We said, what are you doing with this information? This is not yours. That it goes to the government simply because the government is now the big bank on student debt borrowing. Why are you using it for anything else? You have no right to use it for anything else. Lower court said, you're right. Middle court, appellate court said, oh no, you haven't proven like that they're going to use it nefariously. And each of these individuals, you know, if they use it nefariously, they can sue. Okay, so you may be surveilled now for hours, weeks, months, years. You have no idea. You have no idea why you didn't get this job or that job, or you didn't get this, your mortgage or this or that. You don't. So, and you're going to bring a private right of action? That's
and it costs you as well.
And it costs you. So we lost. So that's why I'm saying we're not going to know for a long time what those effects were. This is the effect we'll know. Notice they said immediately, oh, we're going to get rid of the Department of Education. They knew they couldn't because Congress has to take what Congress gives. And this was, I'm sorry, I'm like being the 11th grade social studies teacher again. There's three branches of government.
Yes. The legislature.
The legislature, the president, the courts. The courts interpret the law. The legislature makes the law. The president executes the law. So the president can actually make the law that says no education department. So what they did instead was they basically cut enough people in the education department that it can't function.
Right.
So I'll go back to student loans for a second. An article today, or this week, came out. They cut virtually most of the people in the student loan department. There are 27,000 complaints that have not been heard, ombudsman complaints of people, kids, young people, adults, who are having a problem with their loan servicers. They can't get a question answered. They think they're paying the wrong thing. They think maybe they should be getting public service loan forgiveness now. They're not getting it. Whatever the questions are. What does Linda McMahon do? She's putting all these people into default and going to debt collectors. So student loan borrowers are going to debt collectors. They can't get 27,000 of them can't get their questions answered. That's the priority of this administration. The debt collectors are not stopping. The loan services are not stopping trying to get their money, trying to actually put people into bankruptcy. But yet these kids, these young people trying to go to college and have a better life, or maybe they finished college and now they're trying to figure out how they pay $100, $200, $500 a month as they're trying to do everything else. So that's the damage that they do.
And that is progressive.
That's progressive. I mean, that's 27,000 we just heard of who have specific complaints. We know of 2 million people who want to try to get into one loan program. There's a backlog about which loan program they can get into because Linda McMahon threw out all Biden's loan programs. So you have a mess that's going to affect about 45 million people. And then on top of that, but that's not the thing that I'm most worried about. What I'm most worried about what they've done in terms of education is not how many people they have or don't have in the Department of Education. I mean, I care about the workers, but that's not the issue. Everybody wants everything to be more efficient. We should all want things to be more efficient. And frankly, I mean, I don't know a teacher in New York City that liked the Board of Ed as a bureaucracy either. We don't like bureaucracies. We want them to be more efficient. We want them to help us, not make rules about us. This is the issue. The cuts. How dare you cut after school programs? How dare you do this like on June 30th when all these schools are supposed to get that money on July 1st for this coming school year, the one that started right now? How do you say on June 30th, oops, we're not giving it to you? for the summer programs.
They already started the cut to high schools? I mean, to the lunch programs? I mean,
No, I'm talking about even before we get to the lunch programs. I'm talking about in between the big, beautiful, ugly bill and all this other stuff. $7 billion was supposed to go out for after-school programs, for summer school programs that were happening right then.
And that's what Doge did.
No, that's what Linda McMahon did.
Oh,
so on top of everything else, forget about Doge for a second. This is what's so venal about these people. Like, you just decide, oh no. And why did they decide, oh no, kids are not going to get their summer programs? Oh, because they have something about DEI in it. Like, literally, okay, what are you doing?
That's
You're
ridiculous.
calling your football game, Frederick Douglass football game, so therefore there's something about DEI in it? And like, what are you doing to children? So we pushed very hard on that. We got that taken care of a couple of weeks ago. But why? On money that red districts, blue districts, why would you do that? Why would you be so disruptive? And so what's happening with this department is there's money for poor kids, money for kids with disabilities. They are really playing around with the money that goes directly to kids in schools. It's just having a hugely disruptive effect. So really, truly, if you're a president of the country, why would the first thing you ever do say, I'm getting rid of the thing that helps our future? I mean, that sends a message to all of us that he doesn't care about people, particularly children. That's number one. Number two, the biggest education program in your big ugly bill is to basically set aside almost $50 billion, twice as much money as the federal government sends to poor kids and kids with disabilities. Mm-hmm. You're going to put $50 billion in a voucher bill, as opposed to putting $50 billion in for career
Another
tech
transfer
ed,
of wealth,
for kids with disabilities, kids who are poor, kids who need lunch. That's your priorities. And then on top of it, every single day, even programs that are supposed to go out to people, then don't go out to people. That disruptive effect. That's the abandonment of public education. That's the stuff that is horrible.
Randy.
Sorry.
Wait.
I'm so angry about this.
Randy, let me tell you this. You mentioned about the DNC. You worry about where's the chorus. You mentioned about all these things. This is what we're talking about.
Correct.
If everybody was doing this, if the entire party went out and did this, if the entire party also went into our red areas and let them know that they are going to be affected more so than anybody else.
And there are local Democratic clubs all over the place. Just tell the story of how these actions, stop with the big fancy rhetoric, tell the story of how these actions really hurt kids and hurt families. And that's what they should be doing.
I had a bunch of questions for you, and in your entire narrative, you answered them all. I had 10 of them lined up, and I'm like, okay, she hit that one. Okay, she hit that one. But there's one that you didn't hit.
Right.
And here it goes. Why Fascist Fear Teachers offers a roadmap to defend schools. What a core. Folks, check that out.
This is a galley. It's going to be out in September 16th.
Why are you waiting until September?
Well, but it was because it was back to school. And, it's hard to write a book.
We need to be right. Have it done.
September, so this is a galley. It's going to be out. You can pre-order it right now.
Pre-order this woman's book.
You can do it. Just do it. And whatever search engine you have.
We got to see it right.
Go into the search engine.
There you go.
Go to whyfascistfearteachers.com and you can figure out how to order it.
As you can see, she's very excited about the issue.
Look, I am because why every single day the people look. You have Democrats that
Randy,
have
you don't
actually
have to be kind.
criticized public education, but every single day you have people from Chris Rufo to Mike Pompeo to all these people who criticize public school teachers.
Right.
Who call people pedophiles, who ban books, who erase history, who if we're saying we need this money for after school programs and for summer programs, they're like, oh, you have a woke agenda. No, I have an agenda of kids reading, of kids writing, of kids loving school, of kids having the skills and knowledge they need to soar, of kids actually having a safe and welcome environment. And so I just wanted to know why these guys smear teachers as opposed to support us. And that's why I wrote Why Fascists Fear Teachers.
Let me tell you, folks, she doesn't know how happy she's made me. We need to have this passion to take this country back. This is real. This is real. Randi, give me a closer. What did I not ask you that I should have asked you?
I think I just want to say one more thing as we start school this year to the parents of America, to our kids that we support, and to the educators of America. The educators of America, as they go back to school right now, they're my heroes. They want to do the best they can do for our kids. That's why they're teachers. They certainly don't go into teaching to get rich. And I just want us to be working with parents on the same team. We gotta, social media is our enemy. We're competing with that. All of this disinformation and misinformation, the divisiveness, the otherizing. This is the greatest country on earth. We have an ability to actually make the future better for all instead of worse. That's what teachers do. Please, let's all we gotta work together to take the country back and make the country the fair, just place for all. So all can have an opportunity. All can have access to the American dream. And that's what teachers are trying to do. And that's what they're gonna try to do in their classrooms, regardless of the shit that gets thrown at them.
You know the statements we make at Politics Done Right. The most important profession, bar none, more so than doctors, lawyers, politicians, stockbrokers, are teachers, because they are the ones who make all of those.
Exactly.
Randi, thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you.
All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.